When you dream so big that people look at you and shake their heads when they whisper behind your back, that person is crazy, you're onto something. Because what they really mean is that your vision has reached beyond the limits of their imagination. See, small dreams don't scare people. They don't shake the ground. Small dreams keep everybody comfortable, nodding in agreement, saying, yes, that's reasonable. But it's the unreasonable dream, the one that seems impossible, that makes history. It's the kind of dream that forces people to stop, to doubt you, to question you, because deep down they wish they had the courage to dream that big themselves. Now let's be real. Dreaming big will never be convenient. It will never come without resistance. The moment you put a dream in the air that stretches beyond what's ordinary, you've already signed up for sleepless nights, lonely roads, and more no's than yeses. But you see, those no's are not barriers, they're bricks. Every no is a brick you can use to build the foundation of the life you want. And the people who call you crazy, they are the unintentional fuel, the reminder that you're not playing it safe, that you're not walking in the shadows of what's already been done. Think about it. Every breakthrough you see today was once laughed at. The tallest buildings, the fastest machines, loudest voices of change, they all started with someone saying, that can't be done. But the person who believed otherwise, one who refused to shrink their vision to fit someone else's doubt, they are the ones who changed the direction of the world. So when someone calls you crazy, don't flinch, don't shrink, smile, because you've just been given confirmation that you're walking the path of the extraordinary. But here's the catch. Big dreams demand big discipline. You can't talk about wanting it and then live like you don't. You can't expect to climb the mountain if you're not willing to get blisters on your feet. Dreaming big is not for the lazy, it's not for the faint of heart. It's for the ones who are willing to wake up early, sacrifice pleasures, and endure the silence when nobody else believes. That silence is where you grow, where you sharpen your faith, where you build the kind of the resilience that can carry you through the storms. Conclusion that some of you sitting here tonight, you've been holding back, you've been waiting for permission, you've been waiting for the right time, the right resources, the right applause. Let me tell you, there will never be a perfect time. If you wait until the stars align, you'll never move. The perfect time is the moment you decide that your dream is worth the risk. And yes, the risk will feel uncomfortable, but so is staying stuck in a life that doesn't fulfill you. And here's another truth. People will misunderstand you. And we'll say you're too ambitious, too bold, too different. But that's exactly where your power is. Don't you dare let someone else's limitations become your ceiling. Don't you dare reduce your vision just to make someone else feel comfortable. If they can't see what you see, it's not your job to shrink it. It's your job to build it so big that one day, even the doubters will have no choice but to look up and say, I didn't see it then, but I see it now. And every time you take a step toward your dream, even when it's shaky, even when it's messy, you're proving that courage is louder than fear. You're proving that faith is stronger than doubt. And in the end, nobody remembers the critics. Nobody builds statues for the ones who said it couldn't be done. They remember the dreamers. They remember the so-called crazy ones who turn their visions into reality. So I ask you right now, what dream are you holding back on? What idea are you afraid to say out loud because you know someone will laugh? Don't hide it. Don't bury it. Let it breathe. Because the dream that scares you the most is often the very one that was placed in your heart for a reason. And if you have the courage to chase it, to fight for it, to endure for it, you'll not only prove the world wrong, you'll prove yourself right. Now let me see, how many of you are ready to stop dreaming small and start dreaming so big they call you crazy? When you start chasing a dream that is bigger than anything you've ever attempted before, the first thing you will encounter isn't success, it's resistance. The world doesn't roll out a red carpet for your vision. No, the moment you step into your dream, you're going to run into closed doors, doubting voices, and situations designed to test if you're truly serious. And here's the truth, that resistance is not there to destroy you, it's there to strengthen you. It's life's way of asking, how bad do you really want this? Because if your dream can be stopped by a little criticism, by a little setback, by a little discomfort, then maybe it wasn't your dream in the first place. When people call you crazy, what they're really doing is testing your resolve. They're watching to see if you'll fold under the weight of their opinions. And let's be honest, opinions are cheap. Everyone has one, but commitment, that's rare. Conviction, that's priceless. When you hold on to your dream, even when others let go of theirs, that's when you separate yourself from the crowd. That's when you start walking into the kind of destiny that only belongs to the bold. Why are we here? Let me tell you something, you cannot conquer anything you're not willing to confront. You cannot overcome obstacles if every time life pushes back, you retreat. Big dreams will require you to develop tough skin, steady spirit, and a heart that doesn't faint at the first sign of trouble. Because the road is not smooth. It will be filled with people who tell you no, systems that don't support you, and moments where you feel like you're standing all alone. But it is in those lonely moments that you discover your strength. You learn that greatness isn't born in comfort, it's forged in fire. Think about those who dared to build what didn't exist, who chose to walk where no footprints were left before. They were laughed at, they were called foolish. Yet, in the end, their persistence outshined the laughter. Resilience silenced the doubt. You see, there's something powerful about a dreamer who refuses to quit. You can't stop them because they've already decided in their heart that no matter what comes, the dream is worth it. But here's where most people miss it. They think dreaming big is about the applause, the recognition, the end result. It's not. Dreaming big is about endurance. It's about who you become while chasing that vision. It's about developing the patience to wait, the strength to work when tired, the faith to believe when you see no evidence. That transformation, that growth, is what makes the dream not only possible but powerful. Because when the dream finally arrives, you'll have become the person capable of carrying it. Let me say this, don't be surprised when people closest to you don't understand. Sometimes it's not strangers who doubt you, it's family, friends, even the people you love. They don't mean to discourage you, but their vision has limits, and your dream has no boundaries. Don't hold against them. They can't see what you see, and it's not their job to see it. It's yours. Your responsibility is to keep walking, keep pushing, keep believing even when it feels like you're climbing uphill with no support. Because once you reach the peak, once you plant that flag in the ground, everyone who doubted will have no choice but to see what you saw all along. And I'll tell you another truth, you will fail along the way. Failure is not the enemy of your dream, it's the classroom. It teaches you resilience, it sharpens your focus, it reveals your weaknesses, and it gives you opportunity to rise stronger. Don't run from it. Embrace it. Because the ones who make it to the top are not the ones who never fell. They're the ones who never stayed down. The next time someone tells you your dream is impossible, smile. When they say it's unrealistic, nod your head. When they laugh and call you crazy, let them. Because what they're really doing is handing you the fuel to keep going. Greatest victories are built on the back of the loudest doubts. And the day you prove them wrong, that day will taste sweeter because of every word they spoke against you. Now I want to know, how many of you are ready to hold on when the world tells you to let go, rise stronger every time you fall, and to keep moving until your dream becomes reality? When you dare to dream big, the kind of dream that shakes the ground beneath your feet, you must understand that sacrifice will be part of the price. There's no way around it. You cannot step into greatness carrying everything and everyone with you. Some things will have to be left behind. Some habits you used to enjoy will no longer fit the life you're building. Some people who once walked closely with you may not be able to keep up. It's not because you've outgrown them in value. It's because you've outgrown them in vision. That's the reality of chasing a dream that looks impossible to others, but undeniable to you. See, everybody loves the idea of success. They love the shine, the applause, the spotlight, the story at the finish line. Very few are willing to endure the grind that happens in the dark when nobody is clapping. That's where the sacrifice lives. That's where you give up sleep to gain progress. That's where you turn down the distractions that could feel good in the moment, but cost you your future. And that's the part people don't see. They don't see the discipline. They don't see the lonely nights. And they don't see the choices you had to make when it came down to comfort versus calling. If you're going to dream so big they call you crazy, you've got to get comfortable being misunderstood. You've got to be willing to walk away from things that no longer serve the purpose. Success is not a free meal, it's a feast prepared only for those willing to cook in the fire. And that fire burns away excuses, burns away laziness, burns away every weakness until only the strongest version of you remains. Think about it. If the dream were easy, everyone would chase it. But the very reason your dream has value is because it demands sacrifice that most people are not willing to make. That's why people call you crazy. They can't imagine giving up comfort for an uncertain outcome. They can't imagine working while others sleep, staying focused while others party, saying no when everyone else says yes. They can't imagine it, but you can. And that vision, that willingness to give up what is good for what is great, that is what separates you from the ordinary. But sacrifice isn't always glamorous. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it feels like you're losing everything while gaining nothing. There will be days where the weight of what you gave up presses so heavy on your chest that you wonder if the dream is even worth it. And in those moments, you have to remind yourself that sacrifice is not a loss. It's an investment. You're sowing into a future that others can't yet see. You're paying the price in advance for a reward that will last a lifetime. And here's the hard truth. Not everyone will understand why you're sacrificing. Some will criticize you. Some will think you're wasting your time. They'll say you're foolish for giving so much to something uncertain. But let me tell you this, The ones who laughed in the beginning will be the same ones as asking you later how you did it. And the answer will be simple: I was willing to pay a price they weren't willing to pay. Every dreamer comes to a crossroads where they must decide, am I going to live for temporary satisfaction or lasting fulfillment? Because you can't have both. You can't chase every distraction and still expect to reach destiny. You can't live in comfort and still claim to want change. You've got to choose. And when you choose sacrifice, when you choose discipline, when you choose to let go of what doesn't serve your purpose, that's when the dream begins to take shape. That's when the impossible starts to bend in your favor. Let me leave you with this. The sacrifices you make today may feel heavy, but they are the very bricks that build the life you're chasing. Every late night, every early morning, every tear you cry, every moment of doubt you push through, it's all adding up. And one day, when the dream finally breaks through the soil, when it finally rises and blossoms, you'll look back and realize it was worth every single sacrifice. Now tell me, how many of you are ready to give up what's comfortable so you can step into what's possible? When you step into a dream so big it makes people question your sanity, you have to understand that failure will not be an occasional visitor. It will be a constant companion. The bigger the dream, greater the risk, and the greater the risk, the more room there is to stumble, to fall, to miss the mark. And too many people let that possibility stop them before they even start. They say, what if I fail? Well, let me ask you this: what if you don't? What if failure is not the end, but the very ingredient that makes success possible? You see, failure has a way of teaching you a lesson that comfort never could. Comfort lulls you to sleep. Failure wakes you up. Comfort whispers, stay where you are. Failure screams, grow or quit. And the ones who succeed, the ones who turn their so-called crazy dreams into reality, are not the ones who avoided failure. They are the ones who faced it, learned from it, and refused to let it define them. Think about it. Every setback you endure is a message, a mirror, a teacher. It shows you what doesn't work so you can get closer to what does. It reveals the weaknesses you need to strengthen, the skills you need to sharpen, the character you need to build. That's why failure is not the enemy of your dream. It's the forge that shapes into the person capable of carrying it. Without failure, success would crush you, but with it you become unbreakable. Now here's the challenge. Most people are so afraid of looking foolish, so terrified of being laughed at, that they never take the risks their dream requires. They play it safe, they stay in the shallow end, and they convince themselves that it's better not to try than to fail in front of others. But let me tell you something. The only thing worse than failing in front of people is dying with your dream still inside you. You can recover from failure, but you can't recover from regret. And here's the truth: when people call you crazy, they're not just questioning your dream, they're waiting to see how you respond when you fall. They want to know if you'll crawl back into their box of limitations, or if you'll stand back up and keep fighting. That's the test. That's the proof. It's easy to keep dreaming when everything is working. Can you keep dreaming when everything falls apart? Can you still believe when the evidence says you shouldn't? Every time you rise from failure, you gain a strength that no textbook, no speech, no mentor can give you. It's the strength of lived experience, the strength of scars, strength of someone who has walked through the fire and refused to be consumed. And when you carry that kind of strength, People can't shake you anymore. They can doubt you. They can criticize you. They can call you names. But they can't break you, because you've already been broken and built yourself back stronger. And don't get it twisted, failure doesn't disqualify you. Quitting does. Failure is part of the path. Quitting is stepping off it. So long as you keep moving, so long as you keep getting back up, failure becomes fuel. Every no, every loss, every mistake, it's all wood on the fire that pushes you forward. And one day, those same failures that embarrassed you, the ones that made people laugh at you, will become the very stories that inspire others. So if you've fallen, if you've messed up, if you've been knocked down so many times that you've lost count, don't you dare let that convince you your dream is dead. It's not dead. It's being refined. It's being shaped. And if you stay in the fight long enough, if you embrace failure as part of the journey instead of the end of it, you'll look back one day and realize that every so-called defeat was actually a step toward your destiny. So I'll ask you this: how many of you are ready to stop running from failure, to stand up after every fall, to keep walking toward your dream, no matter how many times the world tells you it can't be done? When you chase a dream so big it makes people call you crazy, you've got to understand that belief is the engine that keeps it alive. Not just belief when the sun is shining and everything feels good, but belief when the sky is dark, when the world seems to be falling apart, when doubt is louder than your own thoughts. Why are we here? That's when belief has to become more than a word. It has to become your anchor. Because without belief, your dream is just a wish. Without belief, your vision has no fuel. And without belief, you'll collapse under the weight of other people's opinions. Belief is powerful because it shapes how you see yourself before anyone else sees you. You can't wait for validation to believe in your dream. You can't wait for applause to confirm your vision. You've got to look in the mirror even when your pockets are empty, even when the evidence says you're losing. Still declare, I am capable, I am worthy, I will make this happen. That conviction is what separates dreamers who quit from dreamers who finish. But let me tell you something about belief. It will be tested. Every time you hit a setback, every time you hear the word no, every time the doors slam shut in your face, belief will be the first thing that tries to slip away. You have to grab hold of it with everything inside of you. Because when you lose belief, you've already lost the fight. Belief is not optional if you want to build something extraordinary. It's the oxygen of your dream. You can live without approval, but you cannot live without belief. And sometimes believing will make you look foolish. Sometimes it will make you stand alone. But isn't that the very definition of faith? Standing when everyone else is sitting, moving forward when everyone else is standing still, declaring victory when everyone else sees defeat. People may call it crazy, but that kind of belief is what moves mountains. That kind of belief is what takes a dream from your imagination into reality. Understand this. People don't just follow talent, they follow conviction. They're drawn to someone who believes in their vision so strongly that nothing can shake it. When you carry that kind of belief, it becomes contagious. Suddenly, the same people who doubted you start to see what you see, because belief has a way of turning invisible dreams into visible results. But it has to start with you. Nobody is going to hand it to you. Nobody is going to believe for you. If you don't stand for your dream, no one else will. And don't confuse belief with arrogance. Belief doesn't say, I'm better than anyone else. Belief says, I will not quit until I become everything I was created to be. Belief is humble enough to keep learning, but strong enough to keep pushing. It's not about thinking you'll never fail. It's about knowing that no matter how many times you fail, you will rise again. Think about the people who ever did something impossible. They didn't start with resources or a guarantee or a cheering section. They started with a belief that refused to die. Belief kept them working when they were tired. Belief kept them focused when they had every reason to quit. Belief carried them through nights of uncertainty until the breakthrough came. That's the same belief you need for your dream. Not shallow belief, not convenient belief, but the kind that is rooted so deep that storms can't rip it out. When someone calls you crazy for believing in something bigger than yourself, smile, let them laugh, because belief is not about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about knowing deep down that what you carry inside of you is real, even if nobody else sees it yet. And the beautiful thing is, the moment your belief turns into reality, those same voices that once mocked you will be the ones telling the story of how you never gave up. Now tell me, how many of you are ready to hold on to your belief so fiercely that no storm, no critic, and no failure can ever take your dream away? When you carry a dream that's bigger than the world around you, there will come a time when the noise outside gets louder than the voice inside. People will talk, they'll criticize, they'll question your every move. And if you're not careful, you'll start to believe them. That's why focus is everything. Focus is what separates those who dream and those who do. You can't afford to let every distraction pull you away. You can't afford to fight battles that don't belong to you. And you can't afford to spend your energy proving yourself to people who don't matter. Focus is the shield that protects your dream from being drained before it ever has a chance to live. When you focus, you begin to understand that not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every invitation deserves your presence. And not every fight deserves your energy. You start to realize that your time is too valuable to waste on things that don't move you closer to the life you're trying to build. The truth is, focus isn't just about what you give your attention to. It's about what you refuse to give your attention to. It's the discipline of saying no, even when it feels uncomfortable, so you can say yes to what truly matters, and don't think distractions always come disguised as problems. Sometimes they come disguised as opportunities, but you'll be offered things that look good, but don't align with your dream. You'll be tempted to chase approval instead of purpose. That's where focus becomes even more important, because success is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things consistently. Without focus, you'll scatter your energy in 100 directions and never make progress in any of them. But with focus, you become unstoppable, because all of your power, all of your effort, all of your heart is aimed like a laser at the vision you've chosen. Let me tell you, people who will call you crazy are often the ones trying to pull your attention away from your path. They'll tell you to slow down, to relax, live a little. But what they don't understand is that this dream of yours is your life. You're not chasing it because it's easy. You're chasing it because it's necessary. And if you're not focused, if you're not locked in, you risk letting it slip through your fingers. Focus keeps your eyes on the prize when the crowd tries to pull you in every direction. It's not easy. Focus will cost you. It will cost you friendships. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you nights of fun, and it might even cost you people who don't understand why you're so serious. But that's the price of clarity, because when you're focused, you're no longer living for approval, you're living for purpose. And purpose will always demand a higher price than popularity. And here's the thing about focus: it multiplies effort. You can spend 10 years wandering in circles, chasing distractions, or you can spend 5 years locked in and do more than most people accomplish in a lifetime. That's the power of focus. It doesn't just help you win, it helps you win faster. It brings results that scatter-brained effort never could. When people finally see the fruit of your discipline, when they see what your focus has built, understand why you didn't answer every call, why you didn't show up to every party, why you didn't spend your time pleasing everybody else. So don't be afraid of being misunderstood. Don't be afraid of being called obsessed. Obsession with the right thing is not madness, it's mastery. And mastery is born out of focus. Every legend, every world changer, every dreamer who made the impossible possible, they didn't just dream big, they focused big. They gave themselves fully to their vision until it became real. So I'll ask you this: how many of you are ready to cut off the noise, to protect your vision, and to stay so focused on your dream that nothing and no one can pull you off course? When you decide to dream so big that people call you crazy, you've got to understand that patience becomes one of your greatest weapons. Big dreams don't unfold overnight. They don't follow your schedule, they don't bend to your calendar, and they don't always show signs of progress when you want them to. The bigger the dream, the longer the journey. And that's where so many people give up, not because they didn't have the ability, because they didn't have the resources, because they couldn't wait. They planted the seed and expected the harvest the next morning. But that's not how life works. Patience is not sitting around doing nothing. Patience is working, grinding, building, while trusting that the results will come in due season. Patience is refusing to quit when the breakthrough hasn't shown up yet. And that's the part most people can't handle. They want the dream without the wait, the success without the struggle, the reward without the process. Anything that comes quick rarely lasts. Anything that shows up without struggle usually fades away. What is built slowly through patience and persistence stands the test of time. Think about the greatest structures in history. They weren't built in a day, they weren't rushed. They took time, detail, labor, sacrifice, and above all else, patience. Your dream is no different. You're building something that will outlive the laughter of your critics, something that will silence the doubts of those who told you it couldn't be done. But if you're not willing to wait, if you're not willing to go through the seasons where nothing seems to be happening, you'll forfeit the very thing you were called to build. There will be days when you feel like everything you're doing is pointless, days when your effort seems invisible, days when you wonder if the vision in your heart was even real. And in those moments, patience whispers, keep going, because the dream isn't dead, it's developing. Just like a seed buried underground, there's growth happening where you can't see it. It may be quiet, it may look lifeless, but something is taking root. And if you give up too soon, you'll never see what was waiting for you on the other side of persistence. The world will try to rush you. It will tell you that you're behind, that you should have arrived by now. You're wasting your time, but you can't measure your progress by their clock. Your dream is not meant to match someone else's timeline. It has its own season, its own timing, its own moment to break through. And patience is the bridge that will carry you to that moment. Patience also builds character. It teaches you how to handle success before it arrives. Because let's be honest, if you can't handle waiting, you won't be able to handle winning. Success will demand even more discipline, even more strength, and even more clarity. The waiting season isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's making sure you're strong enough to carry what you've been asking for. Because the last thing you want is to finally touch the dream only to crumble under the weight of it. And here's the part that hurts. Patience means watching other people win while you're still waiting. It means celebrating others while wondering when it's going to be your turn. It means clapping for them while silently asking, "What about me?" But don't let comparison steal your faith. Their season is theirs. Your season is coming. You don't need to rush. You don't need to copy. You don't need to compete. Stay patient. Stay focused. Keep working. The same God, the same universe, the same principle that elevated them is capable of elevating you when your time comes. So if you're in that place right now where it feels like you've been waiting forever, where your dream feels delayed, don't mistake delay for denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. Your job is not to control the timing. Your job is to stay ready, stay faithful, and stay patient. Because when the dream finally arrives, it will come suddenly, and you'll realize that every moment of waiting, every moment of struggle, every moment of doubt was preparing you for that very day. Let me ask you this: how many of you are willing to be patient enough to keep building, keep believing, and keep holding on until your dream shows up in its full power? When you decide to dream on a level that makes people question your sanity, you can't just carry vision, sacrifice, patience, and belief. You need courage, because at some point your dream is going to demand that you take a leap. And that leap will not come with guarantees. There won't be a safety net underneath you. Won't be a voice telling you everything is going to work out. And there won't be a map showing you exactly how it all comes together. Courage is stepping out even when your legs are shaking, even when your voice is trembling, even when every logical part of your mind is saying, "This doesn't make sense." That's what separates those who dream and those who dare. Courage isn't about being fearless. Nobody chasing a dream that big is without fear. Courage is about moving forward in spite of fear. It's looking fear in the face and saying, "You don't get to run my life." Fear will tell you, "Stay safe, stay small, don't risk it." But courage whispers back, "If I stay here, I'll never know what I was capable of." And let me tell you, living with fear is hard, but living with regret is harder. There will be moments where the path looks too steep, where the voices of doubt become deafening, where the obstacles feel impossible. That's when courage has to rise. You can't borrow it from anyone else. You can't rent it. You can't fake it. It has to come from deep within you, from that part of you that refuses to settle for less than what you were born to do. That part of you that says, even if they laugh at me, even if they doubt me, even if I stumble, I will not let fear rob me of this dream. And let me be real with you, courage won't always look like a grand gesture. Sometimes it's as simple as getting out of bed after a tough night. Sometimes it's making the call you've been avoiding. Sometimes it's speaking your vision out loud for the first time. Sometimes it's standing alone in a room full of doubters and still choosing to believe. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, "Try again tomorrow." But every act of courage, no matter how small, builds momentum, and that momentum carries you into places fear could never go. When people call you crazy, they're really testing whether your courage can withstand their criticism. Will you back down, or will you hold your ground? Will you hide your dream to make them comfortable, or will you declare it boldly even if they laugh? Every time you choose courage over fear, you prove that your dream is stronger than their doubt. And that choice, repeated over and over, is what turns an idea into a reality. You've got to understand that courage has a ripple effect. When you step out boldly, you give permission to others to do the same. Someone is watching you right now, wondering if it's possible to go after their own crazy dream. And the moment you take that leap, the moment you refuse to shrink back, you show them that it can be done. That's the hidden gift of courage. It doesn't just change your life, it inspires others to rise as well. But courage is not a one-time decision. You don't wake up one day, declare yourself brave, and never feel fear again. No. Courage is a daily choice. It's choosing to believe when it's easier to doubt. It's choosing to fight when it's easier to quit. It's choosing to dream louder than the voices that say you can't. And the more you choose it, the stronger it grows, until one day you look back and realize that what used to terrify you now feels like second nature. So if you're standing at the edge of a decision right now, if you're staring at the cliff of uncertainty, let me tell you this jump, not recklessly, not without preparation, but with the kind of courage that says, I refuse to let fear write the story of my life. Because when you leap with courage, even if you fall, you'll discover wings you never knew you had. Now I want to know, how many of you are ready to rise up with courage, face fear head on, and to keep chasing your dream no matter how crazy it seems?